Hey guys, welcome to the Morr-isMoore podcast. I'm your host, wormhole.
And I'm your host, Shaq Morris.
Welcome to another episode. This is
Holding
episode
that.
3.
Big time, boy. We putting them together.
We got something to peep here.
Uh-oh.
We got a hoodie. Matches the banner.
Uh-oh.
And homeboy forgot his hat.
You know, I didn't forget it. I wanted you to be the star of the merch today, man.
That's fair.
Dope-ass hoodie.
I forgot about that. You told me that
Yeah,
too.
come on. Dope-ass
We'll
hoodie.
have all 3 of them on next time.
Yeah.
And
And if
really
you
popping off.
want to get your own, you already know where to go below this video. Or if you're listening, just look us up on anything that you can find us on.
And he has got everything set up online. He's the one that's doing all of our designs. So all that stuff is curated and made by him.
Comment down below of whatever you want. We can get it, okay?
We'll set that up.
Phone cases. Got some dope shoes coming real soon, or they probably already on there if you're listening.
Shoes, hat, hoodie, pants,
Anything, mugs.
mug.
You want tapestry? You want some curtains that look like this? We got you, man. Whatever it is.
True, very true. All right, you gonna lead us off? What we want to talk about today?
You got it.
We go off the book. All right. So,
Y'all be ready to dive in again as soon as you press play on this. Forget what you know. And
forget it all.
And let us just guide the way for you, okay?
All right, you want to start off with your continuation of high jump? Maybe some of that high jump.
Project High Jump, man. Operation High Jump. So basically, during the same time, if you tune in to episode 2, during the same time, before the Treaty of Antarctica, that every country agrees on, not to go there or colonize it or use it for military purposes. Even though it's weird, if you tried to fly over it now, you get shot down. Sounds pretty military to me.
Hello.
So that kind of contradicts itself. It's weird. Yeah. Question everything. Operation High Jump. Let me give you pretty much a summary on it. And you tell me how you feel about this.
Bet.
So we took, again, at this time, 1946, America was the only country that possessed nuclear weapons. After finding out some information through Operation...
Blue beam?
No.
Probably blue beam or high jump?
No.
Who you put me on the spot like that?
What we talked about last week? What I talked about?
Last week?
Yeah.
Give me a hint or something.
Last episode, I talked about my big segment.
I don't know. You're just gonna have to say it.
Come on, man. You gotta
Tell me, and then I can feel dumb.
No, you don't feel dumb. So, you got high jump and what else?
Blue beam.
Fishbowl.
Oh, fishbowl. Okay,
So,
duh.
boom. During the
I wasn't
same
gonna
time.
think of that one. There's
Yeah,
no way.
bro. Fishbowl. So,
Yeah, break it down.
Fishbowl, after Project High Jump, they go down there. Admiral Richard E. Byrd, finds out some information about, go to the second episode and you'll see. They now want to go down to Antarctica, take the nuclear weapons that us in the U.S. had at that time, and see if they can crack the fishbowl. Now, why call this Operation Fishbowl?
What's the fishbowl?
Have you ever seen a rainbow?
Sure have.
Now, do you know how light projections work through glass?
Yes and no.
Yes and no? Like, what do you know about it?
I mean, I can tell you if light goes through a prism.
Yeah.
Like, Dark of the Moon album type vibes,
Mm-hmm.
But apart from that, I couldn't break it down scientifically.
Yeah, so basically light mimics the shape of whatever prism it's going through on the opposite end. in a rainbow color, in a color through glass that could pick up every color except for black and black or white.
True.
And so when you see a rainbow, that light is mimicking a shape of some sort. What is that shape?
It's an arch.
Yeah, it's an arc. Arch.
Like if the top were to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so plain and simple, Operation Fishbowl. For y'all that are well versed on, the only thing that I've ever heard of a firmament in is like the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
Like scientifically, they never teach anybody about a firmament. But it seems like they obviously know something because
Why name it fishbowl?
exactly. And so they took these nuclear weapons and tested them against what we call the glass ceiling.
Are you saying that they made nuclear weapons to do so, or is that just a byproduct?
No. They were already made for control and power, but they wanted to see. So
Okay, if we shoot that at it, will it work? Like
it
that?
didn't work.
I know,
It
but
did.
that was the idea.
Yeah.
Let's
So
try
they
that.
wanted to crack it to get on the other side of it,
Yeah.
to be able to leave Earth itself. And that's what Operation Fishbowl was. And they were unsuccessful at doing so. And so then this brings me back to why not tell us about that? Why not be open to, I mean, if you go back hundreds of years or if you asked your triple great grandmother, hey, what did they teach you in school about Earth? More than likely she would say that the Earth was flat.
Yeah.
So it's a newfound thing, new age,
That's a globe.
that the Earth is a globe, it's spherical. It's something that, like, why do that? Why tell us, oh, now it's spherical, this is how it works, everything we look at in space is spherical, we're in the solar system. Why try to tread the people that aren't in control, us, government-wise, the people that you are leading as a nation, why not tell them the truth?
Well, you could argue too that it's like, well, we thought it was flat to this point in time, and then scientifically pre-proved that it's actually round. You know, and if that's true, then that makes sense. But also, 1958.
Yeah. Well, this is 40 still.
But I think there was a 1958 encyclopedia or something.
Yeah, that encyclopedia.
And then we went in the 60s, so very close. Like, that's a very small amount of time to change things from being flat to round that way. And just as like a preface, we're not necessarily flat earthers, but just keep your mind open. We just like to explore every theory. So
Yeah,
don't be deterred away from us. Be like, oh, these guys are crazy.
For
It's not
sure.
about that.
For sure. But
Just questions that need to
again,
be asked.
we're pointing towards the clear evidence of things that you have to obviously question.
Yeah, just give
If
it a
you-
chance. Just hear it all and see
If
what
you're
you think
one
at
of the
end.
people that are like, hey, our government says this is what we learn, it's the truth, then so be it. But if you could take this information and not ask why, then you got a mind of a genius for sure. Because you said something earlier that we text about, and you like, yeah, I love Neil deGrasse Tyson. I do too, bro. That's crazy. I used to love. Have you seen the Cosmos?
Yeah, he flies around that little silver ship.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he's teaching you everything. Blah blah blah. I used to love that. I used to love the visuals of it
Yeah.
and everything. And I'm like, damn, this is amazing. And, I believed people to be limiting God when they say, oh, he couldn't evolve anything. Like evolution isn't a thing. Do you believe in evolution?
I believe it's possible, 100%.
Yeah. Well, for a long time, I would say I still kind of believe in evolution, not necessarily a adapt. Well, it could be an adaptation.
I guess depending on
Because you
how...
see a frog turn from a tadpole to a freaking frog, right?
Butterfly from a moth or whatnot to, or a caterpillar, sorry.
But is that evolution? Not necessarily, because it's over
No,
a
it's
long
a
period of
transformation.
time.
Yeah. But I'm just saying those are examples of like how organisms can change.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say evolution doesn't exclusively say that God's not possible with evolution.
Okay.
Just the normal narrative of setting humans on Earth as they are.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only difference you would change, because you could still argue God created everything, and he created the single cell organisms that turned out to be people.
Mm-hmm.
You could still argue there's a God that did that.
Yeah.
So evolution doesn't disprove God specifically, and I'm not somebody that's a believer in any of that anyways, but I can still argue that myself, because it's still an argument that can be made by those who are of faith.
I'm a big science guy. I love science.
Yeah, you
do. And people try to take God out of science. But I feel like God left certain breadcrumbs for us to follow his creation.
Yeah, like science is the foundation of the universe created by God, kind of a deal.
Now, again, just like religion cannot be manipulated. Yeah.
Yeah.
To me. But
100% that it has been manipulated.
In what cases you think?
I mean, the Bible itself.
Yeah.
Definitely manipulated by way too many hands all over it.
Do you
different
think
translations?
But do you not think science has been manipulated at all?
I'm not saying that at all. I think it definitely has been manipulated.
And that's what I'm saying.
Well, because
in which ways does science have to you that science can be manipulated? You see the Bible and you say, "Oh yeah, that could be manipulated."
No, I'm not somebody that's really big on science, like scientifically knowledge per se. Mm-hmm. That's not my department of brains.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying, excuse me, science is taught same way mathematics are. You don't make mathematics up and you say that doesn't make sense. No, because as far as you're being taught, 1 + 1 is 2.
Yeah, that's why you test
whatever
things
by
to
whatever
a
is divided.
For sure.
Exactly.
Now, if something...
So science itself, right? You say, well, this is how this element works, this is how it reacts, and this is how that works, and this is how it started. Well, as long as they're telling you, A, you can get to C. You can, after you add B to the variable, whatever, you're getting to C regardless, and that's because they can still set it up however they want.
Yeah.
They can make science make sense to you even if it's not true. They just have to make up their own, it's like making up your own game, making your own movie, how those rules work and whatever.
Yeah.
It's just on a real life scale.
Exactly. And that leads me back to, because scientists love for the boundaries to be pushed.
Mm-hmm.
So.
True scientists.
Yeah. So when you put things through a hypothesis and you okay, well, let's see if this works. You know what a hypothesis is, right? Mm-hmm. You got to test it no matter what. So when they go down to freaking Antarctica in Operation Fishbowl and they test the freaking firmament to see if they could crack that high ceiling. And they failed, right?
Yeah.
But they can't explain what it is or why is it that way. Why not come to everyone else and let it be open information? Like, hey, this is what we discovered. Why try to lie about it? Not be transparent of this is what we discovered. This question, where we are, who we are, and it probably throws out the window of us saying this Earth is spherical.
So what do you think the firmament would be made out of? Something that we know, or something that's not been known yet?
So what I did some research on it. And supposedly after testing some nuclear weapons against it, think of Truman, the Truman Show with Jim Carrey.
Oh yeah.
They get to that wall and they tried to get through it. and they use certain type of things to build, basically, like, well, to drill as far as like a door will let you go. And then they went to sleep, tried to come back and do it the next day, and the door was gone. It refilled itself.
In the Truman Show?
No. I'm just saying, when he got to that wall and that door.
That makes sense. I was like, I missed that part then.
You know what I'm saying? No, so they got to that wall in Antarctica, and it just kept, they couldn't get past it because it kept refilling itself in.
Oh, so kind of like magic, but we just don't understand
so like when you're talking about periodic table type, what is it made of? I can't.
It's off the table.
Yeah.
Probably not even on there.
It's something that's not, it's godlike. It's not.
So this is my favorite question. What do you think is above the firmament?
So.
Is it space?
So, biblically.
I like it.
Sorry, I keep going back to the Bible. Y'all probably like Bible.
No, that's why we need you, bro.
Right?
I ain't going back to the Bible. That's why we need you.
It says the waters above the firmament.
Okay.
So, when you go back to the time of Noah's Ark, when God tried to get rid of the Nephilim, we'll get to that.
I'm about to get to that, yeah.
People believe he opened up the firmament and filled in. Let the waters above fill in.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
So that's so it says in the Bible that it's water above the firmament. Which could be the pond of heaven, the ocean of heaven.
That's what I was going to ask. So in addition, what is beyond the water then?
Heaven.
Is that, do you surface from that water?
Surface? What you mean? Elaborate.
As in you go through the firmament, there's an up you can get to. You can swim up and reach heaven? Theoretically?
Theoretically, it's possible, but you can't get through the firmament. No one can.
Yeah, but I'm saying if so, that would be like what you would reach.
Yeah.
If you get to the top of the
God
water.
was like, yeah, come here. You would go from here to the firmament, through the waters.
Then reach heaven.
To heaven. Yeah.
Where would hell be then?
We're in hell right now.
You think so?
Yeah.
You don't think that there's like a, what's the midpoint called again? I'm trying to.
Like what?
Purgatory.
Purgatory?
You don't think we're in purgatory?
A lot of people believe, hey, hell is below us. It's under earth. Because that's where the devil was cast, beneath the earth, is what the Bible says. And that's where hell is. But to me, it's all, unknowing to us, for real, to be very specific about. But if you, again, question everything and try to open your mind, then it almost kind of makes sense to you.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of things that make sense. Most theories are contradictory, right? You believe in this, but then there's a couple points you're like, or you believe in this theory, but that theory counteracts it. But they both have enough levels of like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's all about finding like what makes sense out of each of them that work with the rest. That's our journey into finding the truth.
Hell yeah.
Somewhere mixed up in there.
Hell yeah.
But I like the idea of that. All right, well, here, get into the Nephilims for me. We talked about this earlier, and I wanted to kind of get a little education, so y'all can be educated
you wanted
as well.
A little education. So just
start from the top. You know what I'm saying?
So in the Bible, people, fallen angels / demons, the angels who turned against God, start to infiltrate and try to infiltrate God's perfect creation in us humans. Because number one, they were just like the devil and were jealous of us because they couldn't be perfect. They had to be perfect.
The demons? The demons?
The angels and the people who turned against, the demons / angels that turned against God. They were jealous of his creation of humanity because, number one, we didn't have to be perfect for him to want a relationship with us. So they tried to infiltrate God's perfect
Utopia.
Creation.
No, okay.
And doing so, the Nephilim slept with, or laid with and procreated with humans during this time, and they created giants. Now this can go everywhere, every which way. I'm gonna try to keep it on a straight path. So then God gives this message to Noah that he needs to start building the ark, and we all know that. You should know that part. He builds the ark, Noah's ark, and he takes 2 species of everything that God created, right, and put it on this ark.
And so what was the motivation for God doing that to Noah?
Because he wanted to remove the Nephilim from being able to infiltrate his creation.
Okay.
Because then, if they stayed around, it'd still be giants to this day, and they would have tainted God's creation in us.
Okay.
So then he flooded the earth and had to restart, and this is after Adam and Eve.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's crazy.
That's just a little quick summary on that for you.
Yeah. Don't you think it's weird? So if you are like siblings or like child and parent,
Mm-hmm.
and you procreate, that you have a lot of genetic issues.
Yeah.
So it's just funny to me that we would have
I felt like this
Adam
would
and
be a
Eve.
next.
Boom. You know, it all starts from there.
Yeah.
Right. So then we're all brothers and sisters and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
And then boom, reset, 2 of everyone, and then we do it again. I think that's just interesting.
That's very interesting.
You said you knew I was going to say that?
Yeah, I felt like your next question would be, how the hell did we repopulate again?
Repopulate without genetic issues. Unless humans used to look a lot different than we do now.
No, so one thing for certain is humans used to live longer than we do now.
What do you think the difference is?
Well, I mean, Noah lived for freaking hundreds and hundreds of years.
That's what it says?
Yeah, for sure. And so, like, being able to... So if you think about life expectancy then, and then what procreation would be, then it would be easier for how long somebody lived. Because then...
So who procreated with Noah?
So, Noah had... See, this is a tough part where, like, some things in the Bible, I'm like, damn, that's crazy. Because they kind of just... They don't go into every detail of, all right, this is what happened. He had, I think, 3 sons, a daughter or something like that. I'm not sure. You can look it up. You could probably pop it up. I'll make you work here. So it's kind of tough to know how they procreated or whatnot, but successfully they did. We're all kind of kids of, even though it started with Adam and Eve, but Noah and his family for sure.
But you don't know who Noah's wife was?
He had a wife. I don't know.
Okay, but it says that he had a wife per se?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm not sure at the end how many kids he had.
I guess I have a question. This is like more of a side road question. How does that fit dinosaurs in anything? And that's like a whole other thing, but...
That's a good question. But, I mean, dinosaurs, again, dinosaurs is a whole nother thing in itself.
Yeah.
Because I've seen something the other day where somebody was like, hey, they've never found a full body of a T-Rex. They've only found a head, the ribs, the tail, leg, this, and that. And then we try to create what it would look like and generate these. Somehow they're more related to birds or whatnot.
Outside the skeleton, we really don't know what they look like.
Yeah, and then this person went in depth on like they were actually dragons. And then you go back into the history.
I've heard of that a lot.
That's crazy.
And I think one of the things too was, I mean, this is pretty flimsy evidence, but like the Chinese calendar, it's got everything on there is a real animal except for the dragon.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't it have been real at some point? At the very least, they believe dragons are real.
Yeah.
To make that.
Maybe.
Because otherwise they would have put in like, you know, a sphinx or a
yeah.
What's the bird tiger one?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of a griffin.
Bird. Oh,
griffin.
Yeah. And so, just like aliens, we came up with this conception of what aliens look like, right?
Yeah.
Or whatnot.
Oh, that's a good point.
And then now we just.
That's a little bit different, though.
Well,
we don't have any evidence to go off for aliens.
But dragons, how did we get the imagery of this fire-breathing, scary-ass animal? Or
well, I mean, I guess as
reptile.
Far as folklore, probably.
Yeah.
Imaginations, otherwise.
Whoever that, I don't know who the first person to think of a dragon. And it was like, damn, this would be a dope-ass animal to throw in this folklore.
It's kind of funny to think about that. You know, like how unlimited creativity is.
Yeah.
Like if you look at even like the Dark Souls games, stuff like that,
mm-hmm.
they always make some new crazy-looking boss every time. You know, there's hundreds of boss probably in like Elden Ring, right? And different enemies and stuff. And they make new ones every time. New horror movie with a new alien. You know, like creativity it's endless.
Yeah.
It really is endless.
But if you take
that
being
like
creativity and add it to history, because, again, like you said,
people like to tell stories.
China, they go back and you see it chiseled in stone. Dragons.
Yeah. But the same thing to me is, again, it goes like the Bible, that stuff, hieroglyphics in Egypt, all that stuff could just be of people love to tell stories. People love to be creative.
But stories so important to chiseling in stone that
we write a lot of stuff
right
down
next to their history.
You know how much stuff we've written in here that's just trash?
Yeah, but that ain't stone.
How many books we sell?
It's not stone.
It's not stone.
And it's right. It's not nothing in there written next to our freaking 10 Commandments or something of.
That's true.
That's real.
But I mean, like, if you had, the only thing you had really was to etch into stone. You didn't really have any other way to write. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you write a story and the kids can roll up, look at the story with the hieroglyphics and like read it and be like, oh, yeah.
Hey, look at this story here of these UFOs in the wall and then the Declaration of Independence. That just don't make sense to me.
No, I get it.
You see what I'm saying?
But I mean, at the same time, it's like you read a book to your child before bed type of deal. It's kind of the same thing.
Hey, here's the story before you go to sleep, and I'm gonna put it right next.
I mean, it doesn't have to be a bedtime story. I'm just saying, like,
I know, but I'm saying,
keep
like,
the kids something.
So it was that important to just put a folklore ass story next to something so real.
I mean, all I'm saying is etching in stone doesn't really mean, like, I know it's obviously saying like set in stone, right? Like that means it's official.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that big of a deal for them back then. They just didn't know how else to put stuff. Like, oh, we can do that. So they start putting it into like, concrete or whatever, like limestone, just carving it in.
If you say so, I wouldn't.
That's just my theory.
Yeah. I see. But back to the Nephilim. So
yeah, Nephilim and Noah.
The giants. I've seen something on this stuff that has made me question things recently. Obviously, all around the world, hopefully, Race could pop some stuff in here. You see these places where it looks like a just giant freaking body curved or carved into the mountains and how
Oh, yeah.
frequently it's found. How can that be a coincidence? You know what I mean? And then think about Himalayan salt. You look up how these people are finding these
Don't give me
mines.
too much work.
These mines in these pink Himalayan salts, where they get it from and they extract it from. It all looked like tissue, muscle tissue.
Really?
Even down to the fat layers of skin. Yes, bro.
That's interesting.
It's freaking crazy.
I never really thought about that.
Yeah. And it's a Bible in the story. I mean, a story in the Bible, David and Goliath. And Goliath was a giant.
How big's a giant to you? Or not even to you, but like as far as the story says.
Well, to myself, I mean, I'm 6'8", and giants.
Are you saying 10
Shaquille
feet?
O'Neal is huge to me. He's a freaking giant.
Yeah.
And then Yao Ming is a damn giant to him. So like,
True.
but I mean,
Are you saying like 10 feet, or are you talking like a 2-story building?
or big enough to lay on a freaking mountain.
Okay. So different levels.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so these things were petrified, like freaking
They turn into salt?
have no, not all of them, no. But I'm saying, like, you can see, obviously, through different pictures in different places of the world, like, it's no freaking way this is a coincidence that this face is just built into the mountain with his arms, hips, and bodies, legs, and toes. There's no way.
Yeah.
No way.
It is a weird coincidence.
Yeah.
Again, I believe anything can be a coincidence, but
Yeah.
I see that stuff and I'm like, that's pretty weird.
That's tough.
That's pretty weird.
Yeah. And so,
Sorry, 1 second.
you good. Get your water. And then what are we about to dive into next?
Let me to look at the old Bucky Boo.
I'll take some water too.
All right. So I guess I'll hit you with one of mine. The last Thursday theory. You said you've never heard of this?
I never. Have you guys heard of the last Thursday theory?
It's fairly popular. It's simple, though. So,
Theory isn't like gravity is a fact to some of
I mean,
us.
theory is like religion. Are we in a simulation? Like that kind of a theory.
Okay, let's go.
I think it's called Born Last Thursday theory,
Mm.
specifically. So it's the idea of it's very possible that we could have been born last Thursday. We have no idea. That Thursday the world started, essentially. And we've been input with so many memories, this and that, everything put into place as it should be, all caught up with an instance. Like, creation itself almost. Like you can tilt it on like God created us last Thursday if you wanted to, being, a man of religion. But it's just the idea of existence started, who knows? It could have been 5 seconds ago and we just got caught up, and everything is just put back in place from our memories to, every mark on the table, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
So it goes back to the idea of like, we talked about this last time on how untrustworthy our brains are, how easily manipulated they are, but also just how unfaithful the knowledge is of what we take in. Like, we couldn't tell. If we just started living last Thursday and they could set us up with memories and so on and so forth, we could not say otherwise.
Yeah.
Because as far as we're concerned, this is reality. We've been alive for 25 years, 29 years. That's all we know. So,
But then, again, that makes me question what the heck would give us, what is something that would be able to just say, hey, let me input this knowledge into this person.
well, I guess it really ties to the idea of being a simulation. Like if the simulation just turned on last Thursday, you could even think. But just saying that nothing existed prior, but we couldn't know because, our memories are us remembering our memories. You know, it's not we're just remembering exactly to that moment in time. It's we're remembering that moment in time from when we last remembered it. You know, like we're looking at a copy every time. So that's why, like, as you get older, you're like, no, this is what happened. And you can look at a video and it's like that's not true.
Yeah.
Because it gets so like diluted from remembering it over and over and over to personal bias.
Yeah.
You know.
See,
But,
me and Sierra talked about something kind of like this.
Yeah.
But, so we got on the story of Liam Neeson and how his wife died. Freak accident. She was on a skiing trip or whatnot. Hit her head.
Oh damn.
They thought she was okay, but she was bleeding in her brain, and she later died. Right. And so I was like, you know, that's something that could possibly like happen to me. What if like, because when I was younger, I was about 10 years old. My parents had just got a new house and whatnot. Me and my brother was having a water fight in the front yard with the hose, just fighting each other with water or whatever.
Good times.
And we were getting the garage wet the whole time and didn't know. And so I did something. I squirted the water like really hard in his eye accidentally, and he's like, "Ah!" And he tried to run after me. So I turned and took off, and I slipped real hard. I mean, really hard. You know how you ever been in a garage when it's wet? Like
Yeah,
that
but I don't
garage concrete is slippery, bro.
Yeah.
And so I slipped real hard and boom, hit my head really hard where even if you weren't in the garage, you heard it through the whole house. Yeah.
Oh wow.
I still have a knot on the back of my head
Let's
to this
crack
day
that,
because
man,
of
wide open.
And so, and I'm like, no way she hit her head that hard. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To where she bled in the inside of her brain and died. And so it took me back to that, and I was like, how do I not know?
That's the connection. Okay.
I'm living in the rest of, like, you know, that DMT stage that your brain gives off after you die.
You're
and
living the last moment of your life.
Yeah.
You died.
Yeah.
10 plus years ago.
Exactly.
That's that's the same thing. That's crazy.
Exactly.
To think.
That's
It's not
why
the same, but it's like, what are you experiencing?
Yeah.
You know.
So, like,
This is seconds.
that last Thursday theory sounds like it ties into that a little bit. You know, not in the same way, but.
Well, and then it ties all back to just like reality in general. Like,
Yeah.
what is reality?
Yeah.
It's what we make of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So it's like you can't really break it down to a certain extent
Yeah.
because it's all based going through our eyes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know. And I even question some of that sometimes because we talked about this before, that supposedly if your immune system knew of your eyes, you would be blind.
Yeah.
It would essentially kill off your ocular nerves and stuff. So,
that's freaky, bro.
like, how else could you perceive? If the only way we know to perceive is through eyes, is there another way you could perceive? Because we have senses, right? We can feel, we can smell, so on and so forth. But seeing ourselves in a 3D environment, we have to use our eyes.
Yeah.
So, like...
Well, have you heard of this blind kid who...
I'd like to ask that.
He, so I know we say we got 5 senses, right? Senses?
Mm-hmm. 6
Basically,
senses for seeing dead
this
people.
dude was born blind, but he used almost like an echolocation to get around.
Like Daredevil almost.
Yeah, legit, just like Daredevil. He walks around, and he uses the sound waves that bounce,
Tell the distance of objects.
bounce off to tell exactly where he is in space. He don't need help with anybody walking him around. He can skateboard. He lives life. He'll know what he's eating off his plate off how the sound waves bounce back to his brain. It basically gives him a vision of field, and that's freaking. It's like a superpower.
Yeah, no, it's literally just like Daredevil.
Yeah, bro.
But that makes you question too. Like, what if you were blind and deaf?
Yeah.
Would you feel the space of air? Like, how could you? Would it be a smell thing? Would it be a taste thing? Would it be a feel thing?
I have no idea.
Like, if you have no hearing or sight, what do? Are you trapped in your own mind?
Damn.
Yeah.
Because you're in that dark abyss, but you feel everything.
So this is.
That's scary,
I won't really
bro.
spoil it for
I
you
would
per
rather
se.
be just dead.
But there's a point in The Boys, the TV show The Boys, and a new recruit tries out. He's a daredevil type where he can't see but he can hear, and he uses that. And this is a bit of a spoiler for you, but not really. It's just one of those things that happens. Homelander claps his hands against his ears,
and now
he starts bleeding from his
stunned.
ears.
Yeah.
He can't hear anymore, and he can't see.
Yeah.
He's literally trapped in his mind, is what people were saying. And I was like, I never thought about it that way.
Yeah.
So that's where I got that from. But it really is like, dude, okay, I can't see. Now, at least hearing, I know I exist.
Yeah.
You can't hear, you just have that taste, that smell, that feel.
How would you survive? I mean,
Imagine if you couldn't feel.
Yeah.
Temperatures, I couldn't touch the leather. Then I'm what, smelling? And I'm tasting? If you had none of your senses,
then you are dead.
you are
not really living
There's
life.
no way to confirm that you're even alive at that point.
Yeah.
So it's like the big difference that our eyes give us is like we know we know we exist. Hearing and sight make us know that we exist.
Yeah.
So if it can be taken away that easily, there's got to be a different way to see. Something that was taken from us, hidden from us. Kind of like that third eye type deal.
Ooh.
Yeah. I think there's something that was definitely taken from us, and we were kind of got latched into this is what reality is.
Yeah.
But we must have seen a reality prior to this.
I like that you said that because a lot of people don't know this as well. Like you said, that third eye.
Yeah.
Like the chakras and all that type of stuff. So for a long time as a devout Christian growing up, like they teach you to stay away from that type of stuff. Meditation, yoga, all this, right? But then recently I found it in the Bible where it is okay to do so. I don't know the exact scripture.
Why wouldn't it be?
I don't know. That's some Christians just like, no, that's evil. So they say it's evil and it welcomes some outside energy that you don't need. Because
this is why I have issues with religion sometimes.
Because it's God.
You can't do some yoga?
Yeah.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
It just seems like excuses.
To me, that's just people, again, trying to limit God. Again, we're in his creation.
And in my opinion, limit ourselves.
Limit us. But I'll have to pop up the verse in the Bible.
You can do it?
Where it talks about it. Go read that verse
got
right
our sound
there.
effects guy loaded and ready.
Read that verse, and it'll give you that okay to do your yoga, do your meditation. It's okay. It's all, anything you can do to this day is all because of God. So, but it's a lot of evil things you got to stay away from. It's evil. I never felt like yoga and meditating was evil.
Yeah, kind of like a common sense.
Something that if you have an anxiety and you want to naturally calm your mind, meditate.
You know the term common sense?
Mm-hmm.
They always say common sense ain't that all common. Maybe common sense is more of like our instincts. Like that's common sense. Not everybody has it per se, but I feel like maybe just some of us are more in tuned.
No, it's
to the instincts.
There's some people that ain't got common sense.
That you said ain't?
They do not have common sense necessarily.
Yeah. Maybe they're just less in touch.
Maybe that's more of an American thing. I'm not gonna say.
Well, the phrase itself, yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like the idea of common sense is a common understanding for everyone without even language, right? That's common sense.
It's funny you say that.
Why?
I was in a place in the world where.
In a place in the world.
Yeah, I won't speak
very ambiguous
specifically on the place.
Sure.
Or where I was or the people, but it just seemed to me like they lacked common sense for some reason because
And that's cool. That's probably when it comes down to a cultural thing.
yeah, it was
Of what's
culture because
okay.
they work one way and they do things one way, certain way. But like, if you could understand me, and I'm like, hey, can I have a hamburger? And then I want to add cheese to that. Give me your number one, add cheese. That's what I want. And they're like, no, we can't do that.
Customer's always right.
What do you mean? Why you can't do that? We just can't do that. And then you say, okay, give me a number two that already has cheese on it. Just give me a number two with the cheese. Okay. But it's the same exact burger.
Just add cheese.
Exactly. So you like
That's so weird.
so they didn't quite understand like, no, you just order your number one and that's what you get. I'm
Like,
not
that's not
no
how it works
altercations.
here,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
We have a
But
specific thing.
common sense wise that person would reply with, all right, I'll give them a number two. You
Right,
know?
exactly.
I
Right.
know what you want to argue.
Or at least be like, so this, do you just want number two then instead?
Yeah.
You know? Like, if that's what the big change or whatever, you think that would be the way it would go.
Yeah. So like to
But
me
I will say one about like a common sense based on cultural.
Hmm.
Like, for example, in India, they're shoulder to shoulder traveling around sometimes. So they don't really have, at least if they were to come straight from there to here, they wouldn't have the sense of like personal space as much as we do. We don't want to be next to me. Like people in New York, even you could say that people in New York, they're so close to each other all day walking on the streets.
yeah.
Like if they came down to the Midwest, whatnot, they'd be like walk up right next to you, be normal.
Yeah.
For me, I'm like, you know, even after
Get out
after
my
the
bubble,
vid,
give
you
me
know,
space.
even after the vid happened, I'm still like, just stay about 6 feet from me, dude.
Yeah.
And there's no reason you gotta be close to me. If we out in the checkout and there ain't more than like a couple people in line, I'm like, just stay back.
Yeah.
You know?
Why you
I will say sometimes if people are rolling up on me and I have like a sack or I'm holding stuff, I'll put it out behind me, like reach out to where they physically cannot get close to me, just to give me that
You
space.
should see what I'm trying to think in my head of you doing that.
Yeah, it just bothers me. You know how I drive, so now you know how I'm out of line.
Yeah.
You know? I don't
Yeah,
know.
you drive pretty reckless.
I don't drive reckless.
No. Like the road rage is reckless.
It's not road rage, okay? Yeah.
I'll be telling you to stop, bro.
I know I told Vada that you gave me that gold star and improvement
Yeah.
because I was very polite. Next thing I wanted to talk to you about. So kind of speaking on simulation theory, but also a little bit of AI. So something I was watching that kind of got me thinking was, I believe they said, I just need to get it in my head. We are possibly AI ourselves. This simulation was created to give ourselves bodies, to be able to exist outside of the 2D realm, or outside of the technological realm,
Do you think we
rather than even
we
just
gave
like a robot
ourselves the
body.
okay to do that in the 2D realm, and then we forgot that we did that, and then we just live this life, or what?
That could have been an issue. They could have hopped in and realized, oh, there's a disconnect. You know, like you start from birth, but like your memories as an AI don't come through with you.
So then, when you die, you go back to the 2D world.
You essentially, you just wake up. Whatever waking up is for an AI, you know, a non-carbon-based life form to wake up per se. But wouldn't that be crazy? We're all just a bunch of them. They just wanted to live like a life. They wanted to.
So we're past
be in a body almost.
We're past the point.
So that's the crazy part, right? Is we could be the iteration where AI takes over and that happens, right? Or we could be the iteration that's already happened and now we're in it. But we could be a precursor to it, or we're already post all that, and that's what we are.
And it's,
that could be essentially what happens in the end of our lives, or not even our lives, but like whenever that happens, right?
Yeah.
But we could also just already be in it. But we couldn't tell. We couldn't tell either way.
But what if we could tell?
What if we could? What would you do?
What I showed you on Neil deGrasse Tyson talking to that scientist, where he's like, we dig deep enough down and we find
the Earth is, or like life is made of code. Existence.
We find the code in the dirt, and that's a proven and showing that we live in a simulation.
But again, we made up mathematics. So, I mean, like, you know, the way technology's gone, I mean, we're doing mixed reality with the Quest 3. So, if we can do mixed reality with that technology already, it could just mean that the formula's life is math, or at least what we've depicted as to be math.
Yeah.
Or at the same time, it is like that because we are simulation, you know. And that was just a puzzle piece to get into that result.
That would be crazy,
wouldn't it?
It's you got a lot of theories in there. That's like, what the hell? A lot of
theories, bro.
What the hell?
I like to keep a theory arsenal.
That brings me to the point where you talk about our bodies, right?
Yeah.
Like putting us in artificially going to carbon.
Exactly. Well, virtual carbon.
So, like, a lot of people don't think of this, right? A lot of people think that believers, probably more than likely, believe that their body has a soul. But really, it's your soul has a body.
Okay. I can understand it that way more.
So your soul has a body.
Yeah, it's created like a way to move around and survive and stuff.
And so you run into people who don't understand the Trinity, the Holy Trinity. How could God be God and then be the Son and the Holy Spirit at the same time?
That's some God stuff.
Well, how could you explain that?
I mean, I don't believe in it, so I couldn't.
If you could try to explain it, if you were a believer, how could you?
That he could be all?
Yeah.
I mean, he's God, so I'd hope he could do pretty much anything, right?
I mean,
it's like imagining like you take a piece of yourself, pop into another person. You know, in a way.
Yeah.
Kobe is you.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Same way. Same way God created Jesus could be equivalated to you making your son.
Mm-hmm. So
a piece of you made him.
So when you take that perspective of your soul having a body,
does God have a wife?
What would he need a wife for?
I don't know. Must be lonely.
No, you don't have a wife. So again, that perspective, that our bodies have a spirit and soul inside. That's three in itself. So how could God not be God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit at the same time?
So I believe he could be. Right?
Boom.
Is that how you feel?
I know you never thought of that right there. Take it, bask in the ambience.
Ambience? All right, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
So I kind of need to pull it back again. But you seen like Rick and Morty, right?
Yeah.
You see the episode where they were in a simulation with those aliens?
No.
They were trying to get the formula from him from like space travel, or maybe it was his portal gun stuff. You don't remember that?
I know the portal gun.
They didn't like seeing people naked. You remember that? They didn't like seeing people naked. They got naked to escape them.
What?
Okay. So that episode, they're like in a simulation, and they start to overload it because Rick's smart, whatever. So they do that, and then they do it like 2 more times. They're like simulation within a simulation within a simulation kind of idea.
So Inception, damn it.
Yeah, essentially. What I was going to ask you is, do you think if you found out, let's just say some like Matrix stuff, right? They give you that red pill situation.
Yeah.
And, you take it and you get to see like the real world. Would you settle for that? Or would you still think, what if this is a simulation? Or what if this isn't real? Because you've already found out one layer wasn't. What's stopping it from being more than one layer?
Damn.
You know?
That's Inception for real.
Yeah, would you keep the paranoia of like,
Yeah,
I would
keep me a little spin top and see if it.
Yeah. Well,
If
I mean, if
it
you're in a
falls.
simulation already, then there's no basis for it.
Mm.
So you couldn't even tell. You have to start from reality and work your way through the simulations and dreams.
But then, like you said, reality itself.
Well, so the reason I asked that is it's kind of the same way that I would see trying to believe in a religion.
Really?
If you gave me some proof of religion and whatnot, why wouldn't I still keep asking questions? Why wouldn't I think, okay, well, God's come down here. He's blinded me with his light. I can tell this man is God. But at the same time, what if he isn't? You're still going to keep asking. I don't know if it's like the type of people we are or I am, but I feel like we would always be asking a question. We can never be satisfied because there's no like set in stone. There really isn't of like, okay, that's it. 100%.
See, that's something that
that's how I'd feel in heaven.
You won't find out until you die.
I still feel the same way in heaven, I feel like. I mean, you'd feel, based on what heaven's supposed to be, you'd feel different than being in this realm.
When you get to heaven, you would feel the most overcoming feeling of joy.
But again, you say that, but you've not been to heaven.
Trust me. And that's why faith is so huge.
I'll say trusting you is still having faith in your idea.
That's why faith is so huge right now to have. Because if God was like, hey, I'm coming down here, let me do the podcast with y'all, blah, 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 it would be the same thing no matter how much he shows you, right?
Yeah.
He wants that relationship with you without showing himself and wants you to have faith in him. And that's why he created you, right? So even if you did not, like you don't now, believe, what's hurting you in believing him? Like, you're a great person in every which way, right? To me, at least. Probably not to people you wrote rage against.
They don't know. That's the best part. They don't know.
But if you had faith, and he's like, you know what? I believe in God. I just do. I just feel him, and I have faith that he's real, and he sent Jesus to die on the cross for my sins, and all of that stuff. If you died and there was nothing, then it's nothing, right? Nothing is nothing.
There's not. I don't have time to process that. You're just gone.
Yeah, you're just gone.
Illusionary gone.
But then if you die and then it's something, and you like burning in hell, and you like, fudge.
I'd be so pissed.
Why didn't I'd be so pissed.
No, like
why I didn't have faith?
I wouldn't be pissed that I didn't believe. I'd be pissed that why did I have to believe to be eternally punished? You're not. I'll tell you right now, you are not a God that I would want to worship. I don't want to worship any God in general. I think the idea of worshiping doesn't make sense to a being that's supposed to be full of love. But number one, I believe that if you were to send me off to be eternally burned or like my arms cut off, like little bats eat at me all day for eternity, then you suck, man. I'm sorry. Like, if you're a God that does that, and especially for someone that's not like a murderer or like, someone that violates people, like, if all I did was not believe in you and you're like, sucks to be you, bro. Enjoy hell for eternity, man.
See, but
I'm like, well, then he doesn't even see your good deed.
What you're not getting is,
tell me
you live in a simulation where God created you and everyone before you that brought you here today, gave you free will to do and believe in whatever you want. And he's left breadcrumbs to show you who he is. And you just decided to say, you know what, I don't care about that.
I mean, I wasn't given enough, to be fair.
I don't long for a relationship for whoever created this star, sun, solar system, and the air I breathe. I'm gonna live my life. I'm gonna be a good person, and I'll continue not to give a hell about the creator or why.
Here's a really good question I've got for you.
So
it's different because we are humans and on the basis of God being, divine and such. But how would you do it if you were God?
How would I do what?
How would you be God?
If it was you. Being honest, I'll do it the same.
You do the same way?
I wouldn't want to come down here and be like, hey, war, stop. Violence is over with. Because then I'm controlling people. They don't have free will. Hey, I created you just to serve me. This is what you do. Now God is a dick.
What do you think worshiping is?
I choose to worship him.
And he wants you to, right?
He wants you to have a relationship with him.
Which is through worship.
Which is through belief and faith.
But still worship.
Worshiping is a different part of things. This is different.
What do you quantify worship?
Worship is giving thanks. Yeah, I give thanks.
Giving thanks?
Yeah.
I see it as being less as.
I am less than God. I'm not the same. I couldn't create this from the fingertips of my palm.
Well,
I accepted God to be in me.
He could have made you just as powerful as he is. He chose not to.
I asked to borrow his strength all the time. Every parent I lost, I said, God, please.
Strength is different than power.
What do I need his power for?
I'm just saying he didn't give it to you.
Exactly.
He didn't give it to anybody.
Because none of us need it.
Why does he need it?
Imagine if he gave freaking Kim Jong-un his power. What you think the world would be like with free will?
I don't know, but he created Kim Jong-un, did he not?
Yeah, but imagine him giving him his power. Yeah, he loved him.
Okay.
If the truth can reach you...
So, I'm not just saying
listen.
him...
If the truth can reach you, and you choose to see it and then deny it, then that's just on you. It doesn't say how good of a person you are. It just says that you'd rather be in question than in belief in anything.
What's the difference if God gave his power to everybody?
If God gave his power to everybody.
Not Putin, not Donald Trump, whatever.
If God gave his power to everybody, then why have a creation?
Exactly.
Why?
I mean, he created you.
Hey, I'm going to create I am myself. I am God. I can't create a world. Here, let me just put another free-willed God right here.
What's the difference?
We all made...
He wanted to create lesser beings that would worship him?
I see what you're trying to get at.
I'm not trying to get at something specifically, but...
No.
I'm trying to get you.
So, God, before humans, had already had a creation. Before Earth, before the Big Bang. It was already Lucifer, angels, Gabriel, Michael, all of these guys. They already existed. What did he need us for? He wanted to take his time. 7 days of God's time, to be exact. And go create something that took energy away from him on the seventh day. Where he just wanted to rest. He wanted to then put Adam and Eve on this earth and say, this is my perfect creation. When you look at a freaking Picasso on the wall, why did he pick up the brush and just start painting?
Felt like it.
Okay. And then people marvel at his stuff to this day.
Are you comparing a human to a god?
No, I'm comparing why.
But it wouldn't be the same why. It wouldn't be the same motivations.
Why wouldn't it?
We have different motivations than God.
Okay, what's a human motivation?
Creativity, love, hate, emotions.
Sounds like free will to me. Because you can choose any of that you feel so such. Adolf Hitler chose what?
The problem with free will is when it comes to God has a plan for you.
Mm-hmm.
If he has a plan, you have no free will.
And if he didn't have a plan, then you have no existence.
And if God isn't real.
Obviously.
No, the only reason I say that is
we're in this room because God is real.
I mean, we're in this room because we got lucky. That's how I see it.
There's no such thing.
We got to be in the right place.
There's no such thing.
The right time.
Just let there be light, and a big bang happens, and all of this scientific stuff is freaking proven.
But then we go back, bro. We go way back.
Take me back.
How did God exist then?
God was already existing. So
then why can't the universe?
I don't get how you get all the simulation stuff, and then
there always has to be something before. It has to be full circle, or it goes on forever.
Okay, think of nothing. Think of a place where there is absolutely nothing. Okay. That dark abyss. After you got pulled into a tornado, right?
Yeah.
In your dream.
I like the callback.
What was there? Nothing, right?
Black void.
A black void.
Yeah. No white, just completely black.
Just a complete black void, and there's nothing.
Imagine closing your eyes in the darkest room.
Yeah. It's not even a ground there. It's just nothing. And then you say, wait, but there's me. I'm me. And you tap into let me create something.
That's interesting.
If I hear myself and I know that there's nothing, then that means there's something. Watch this. And you tapped into a power that you didn't know you had. And you created the angels. Actual servants of you that follow your damn commandment and what you want. And you build the heavens. Actual place where you imagine yourself to be. And then you say, you know what? After all this, I love how these angels worship me and everything. I want to create something better. Something that people would choose me instead of me saying, hey, here you are. I created you. You wish you were worthy of the worship when I started this from nothing. You're not. Go to hell.
It's pretty hateful.
Okay, God is what? In the Bible, a jealous God. Says it himself.
Is being jealous a good thing on earth? Isn't that a sin? Jealousy is a sin.
I'm not sure. I don't think envy
That's the only reason.
Let me continue, please.
Okay.
So now, you take your power and your ability and your time to go and create this perfect creation. And then there in the Garden of Eden, that angel who you casted out said, no, I don't want your perfect creation to be perfect. And he manipulates Eve into biting the apple and giving it to Adam. So now, God has been fighting the devil to it's something he already created, right? Been fighting him into it's this it's this war that you can see still to this day. When you open your eyes, you listen to music, you see all the blasphemy being done across the television, no matter what you're looking at, especially from the most influential people. It's all the devil's plan, going back to the Garden of Eden, the first moment in interaction with humanity, when God was trying to create something perfect and try to combat that because he wanted that worship for himself. So he's going to try to take as many people as he can with him to defy gods and people that question his existence and don't have faith into him, and defy what God really wants and their potential for them to be with him, making God feel like he lost. But he's fighting the devil's fighting a losing battle. But to sit here and just say, you know what, this is lucky. I'm in this room. It's all just by chance. And I don't know where the hell it came from, but I'm here and I'm breathing.
It's a lot more fun that way.
And you know what? It's a lot more fun getting drunk. It's a lot more fun going out here robbing, stealing.
That ain't fun.
Yeah, you gonna make your money. I'm gonna pull up on you and I'm gonna take it from you by force.
That's not fun.
That sounds fun to me.
It's not fun because
it sounds fun to the thieves out here, because they ain't got to work hard for nothing.
True.
Listen, it's a lot more appealing to the bad side of things. But when you lock in and you see the bigger picture and you actually understand that none of this is by chance, and you do have faith in that creator, I know you looking at me like, damn, it's showing a lot about Shaq. But
I'm just listening.
When you actually do have that faith, then you get overcome with this acceptance of God's plan, even though you don't know what it is. And so that in itself will take you to where you need to be in life and what your purpose is. And then you accepting the Lord into your life, then you'll receive the Holy Spirit. And then you just, I can't explain it to you. It's just this feeling because the Spirit is with me.
That's the reason why I could never do it.
Yeah. Well,
you say that feeling, but I don't. As far as my reality goes, that doesn't exist.
Because
I don't feel anything that would ever.
Yeah. And then
be that.
But look at me. I still, no matter what through life, love everybody that is a part of God's creation. I love living. I never judge anybody whatsoever. Never have, never will. But for those who do accept the Holy Spirit to come into them, then they feel it. You accept God, that creator, not that luck chance person, but the true creator to come into you, then that's the only way you could ever feel what I'm trying to explain. I can't explain it with words.
You can't explain feelings.
Can't explain it with a touch. It just is what it is, and faith is a huge part of everything.
So I wanted to take it back, but I also wanted to ask a question first.
Yeah.
You talk about free will that we've gotten, right?
Yeah.
Do the angels have free will?
I have no idea. I don't believe they don't have the same. No, not necessarily. No, not. I mean, I believe they do have free will, because Lucifer chose.
That's what I was getting at.
He chose to defy God. He chose to take 66% of the angels with him that were in heaven and said, we need to turn against him. We need to boycott this man.
For real.
Because he
boycott
created us
ever.
first, and now he want to go off and paint this Picasso and give that Picasso all of freaking love, and it doesn't have to be perfect. And he still longs for a relationship with every single paintbrush. Heck no, he need to show that to his first creator beings first. That's us.
What do you think the angels did with their time?
What I would do with my time if I was in heaven? Sit there and act and do whatever God want me to do. And just be in his presence.
You're going to be a good boy for God?
Hell yeah. I'm going to be.
I can't do that.
Yeah. God, you that. Hey, let's go.
Okay, now to take it all back.
Mm.
Again, you brought me back to the void.
To that void. All right. Boom, boom, boom.
And you said, I know I exist, but nothing does. Let me create, right? How did he get to the void?
He was the void. That void.
What the?
That was nothing. Was always something. And that is something that your human brain can't actually comprehend.
Okay. But that's what I'm asking is, how do you have a creator if they have to be created themselves?
He is the Alpha and the Omega.
How?
Alpha being he is who he always was because he never was not.
Let me rephrase it.
Do you understand that?
Let me rephrase it.
It's nothing before the Alpha and nothing after the Omega.
I understand what you're trying to say, but that doesn't help.
I know what you...
So you're saying that the Big Bang could have just created us without a God. That there had to have been a creator for us, right?
Yeah.
Has to be.
Yeah.
Then why wouldn't it make sense that the creator had to be created? Why wouldn't it make sense?
Because when you
if you're saying that a creation itself had to be created by a creator, then the creator had to have been created by a creator. Mm-hmm. It has to keep going.
Okay.
Because nothing can come from nothing, right?
Think about it. When you go back to that void and you start to create, but something created you first, right?
Okay.
But now that you started to create, who are you?
The sub-creator?
No, you're God.
Okay, so then who's above them? That created God.
Maybe he
That's
disappeared
God's God?
in the void.
But you see the problem, right?
I see what you're saying. It had to be a God before God, and then God before
creates.
him, and then God before
God creates.
God creates. But you gotta understand, infinitely is him. He is infinite. If there was,
that's hard to quantify.
It's hard for your mind to understand because it's not meant to. Hard for
I
mine
wonder.
as well.
I truly wonder if we have a limited understanding of that. That is something that's interesting to think about.
It is.
If
the
there
Bible
is
says
truly a creator,
you couldn't even look upon an angel.
Yeah, because they'll burn your eyes out
because
the divinity
of how God created them.
Yeah,
it's just your mind would freaking explode.
What would you do if you saw an angel? Like you knew you saw an angel?
I thought I saw an angel when I was younger.
What do you expect them to look like?
Now that I know the description of how an angel actually looks in the Bible, what I saw when I was younger, and I wasn't dreaming, I was completely awake.
Yeah.
It was super late at night, and I used to have TV in my room. I forgot what company it was. I won't even say them. But I'm damn near nocturnal. I can't go to sleep. It's been like that my whole life. And so I had this. I was in my room upstairs, laying down on my little twin bed, even though I was bigger than it.
Right.
And I'm freaking 11, 12 years old.
I was in a twin bed till like 15 or 16, so I feel like
And so, laying in my twin bed, it's like opposite of the. So if my twin bed is right here in this corner, this is perfect. My closet is in that corner over there. And I'm laying down. My TV is where the camera is. I'm watching TV, whatnot. And then my TV had this timer on it because my mom used to be like, all right, you need to go to sleep. You should be asleep by this time. So the timer cut off. So it cut off and I couldn't find a remote. And I was like, what the hell is a remote? I used to sleep with a night light, but it was off this night for some reason. I needed a new bulb. Yeah, I was scared of the dark. Because of the movie Darkness Falls that came out. Scary movie.
Darkness is scary.
And so then I'm like, you know what? I can't find it. I ain't about to get up. Boogeyman under the bed. Let me just.
Oh yeah, he's there.
Let me just try. Let me try to just relax or whatnot. So I was looking at the street light come through the blinds and just make these lines. You know how it looks, right?
Yeah.
It comes through and it just make these lines, and I'm like, oh, all right. Well, let me do a little prayer before I go to sleep or whatnot. So I'm praying, blah 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 blah, and then I hear my closet go like, and I was like, what the fudge? I was about to run out the room, but then like this overcome of like peace came over me, like, and I'm like, what the heck?
Ain't no boogeyman.
So then I'm like, all right, let me just try to close my eyes. Let me try to close my eyes and actually just lay my head back for 2 seconds, and then I like look back up and the closet is open. And I'm like, I start praying heavily at this point. I'm like, God, no, please, blah, 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 blah.
Fear not, child.
Then this dark apparition steps out the freaking closet, and this is all legit. Steps out the closet, and I see these wings come up from the back like this. You can see that the wings were lighter white, lighter than his body. I couldn't see the face. And then those not three lines, but the lines from the blind going across. This angel, what it looked like to me, body at the time. And I put the covers on my head and I just said, God, I'm not ready for this. God, I'm not. And I put it back, and then he was like this. Put his hand out to me. And it was like,
The angel?
And yes, like this.
Tell me you grabbed that hand.
No. I put the covers back over my face, and I was
bro?
like, God, no, like, please.
We'd be having a
not
different
ready. I'm not
conversation
ready.
right now if you were best friends with an angel.
I'm not ready, God, please. Like, and I prayed heavy for like 3 minutes straight, and then I did this, and then it was gone. Closet was shut. Everything.
He's like, all right, whatever, dude. I was just gonna just take a peek at heaven, man. Come
I
on.
was like, man, let me just show you something.
Ooh, what's going on?
But then when you look at in the Bible description of how freaking angels look, they got eyes all over their body.
Yeah, that's creepy as hell.
And they like rings and move. They just it's crazy. So,
well, the moving ring one is something different. It's like on his throne, like God's throne or whatever.
Oh, you know
I know,
the
I
description in the Bible.
I like to do a little bit.
Okay.
I don't just talk, against religion without knowing anything about it.
Yeah,
That's
I
pretty
like
scummy.
that. I like that. I mean, you don't talk negatively. You just speak from your logical mind.
Yeah, I'm just asking questions.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
love
find
that.
answers, bro.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Number one person trying to find answers.
I can't give
100%.
you all of it, all the answers, because I've had questions myself.
Well, I like to ask those questions and see how the gears of your mind go,
Yeah.
and see what you're going to pull from and why, and what makes sense to you. It's very interesting to see what makes sense to you.
Yeah.
And
I got some things that that don't make sense to me. So, specifically, one thing in the Bible that don't make sense to me.
I'm gonna put a
that I've been
poll up at
looking.
some point, and I want you guys to vote on whether or not Shaq should have took the angel's hand. Bet.
You wouldn't do it, so
Bro, I would have
vote
done
what
it.
you would do.
I would have hella done it. I'm like, yo, what's the worst thing that could happen, you know?
You'd be like, all right, hey, show me. I've been waiting on this.
Yeah, let's go, bro. I ain't got school tomorrow. Let's hit this.
That's funny as heck.
It is funny. But that's a really interesting story.
Yeah. So
I never had that.
it probably was just a Nephilim trying to have sex with me.
Oh, yuck. You could have had a giant, bro.
I am a giant.
That's
Bring your big ass.
He just poked you, made you a little taller.
It's like, just, nah,
Yeah,
I
just
ain't
a
got
little-
no Nephilim
A
blood
little
in me.
magic dust.
This ain't tainted. It's all blood of Christ over here, bro.
Well, what happens if an angel gets with a human? 'Cause
Then it was a demon. Because God ain't tell none of his angels to do that.
How could they even procreate with them? Because, like, I would assume they weren't given the tools
Because
to
they
do
got all
so.
the life juices. God put Jesus into Mary.
Yeah, that's some weird magician stuff, bro.
Magician.
See, right
Oh
there,
my
that's
God.
messed up, bro.
How's that messed
If
up?
somebody popped a baby in my belly, I'd be so pissed.
Then you know you got a plan.
I don't
You
care if
virgin.
it's son of God or not, bro. I don't want an unexplained pregnancy.
The toughest part of that was
If he wrote me a letter and I could
Joseph.
say yes or no.
Joseph had to believe that she wasn't messing around.
Yeah.
You lying.
Joseph's the boy for getting through
You
that.
know you was doing something.
Yeah. Well, once the baby walked out,
He's strong. I would have been like, yeah, I'm out of here. We ain't even did nothing yet.
come back once you see him walking on water, be like, oh, okay. So, like, you weren't
See,
fronting.
look,
You weren't fronting.
Going back to 4,500 years ago. For those of you who don't know, that's one of the great pyramids of Giza.
Did I say Project X or Planet X?
It's Planet X, bro.
It's Planet X, but I thought I said Project on accident.
No. So
Planet X.
So I talked to a guy here recently in person a few days ago. And he said expertise, and that's the only word I can come up from it. And his experts, he's good at making and building, not making, but cutting these giant, huge tons of stone or whatnot. No, he said it was the second heaviest material on Earth. I don't know what it is, but cutting it where it's so thin, right next to each other, you couldn't even fit a piece of paper. And then I'm like, okay, so
as in two of these are pushed together.
pushed right next to each other. I'm like, wow, hey, that kind of makes me think about the pyramids. And they're cut like that. He's like, yeah, and they're about 50 to 70 tons, 75 tons each. And there's millions of them to build the pyramid that can't be off by even an inch from the bottom to the top. And then he brought something to my attention that I don't know what you think about this, but I never thought about before. That it has not or will not settle into the ground. It's no
collapse or fall in.
no collapse into the ground that will make it uneven whatsoever. And I'm like, God, when you think of 50 to 75 tons each, how the hell not?
4,500 years old.
4,500 years old, bro. Even like I said, your grandma's house could be there for 60 years and then it'll start settling and collapsing into the ground a little bit. Just make a doorway a little more creakier because it's shifted.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what the technology we use today to build homes. You know, they got this 3D printed stuff that you can do now these days. It's one of the newer ways to do it. And even that stuff will eventually settle into the ground. So for them to be exactly at the point where they point to the constellation of Orion's belt, to the freaking T in the sky. How do you explain that?
You really can't.
I mean, come on.
That's the craziest part.
So it's either, again, us going to the moon and losing the technology, or take us back 4,500 years ago. We just lost that technology. Humanity, bro.
We never learned it.
Ugh, it's annoying. But he continues to explain. He's like, well, look at this. Think of our solar system being a record, right? On a record player, it spins everything around the sun. Correct? That's what we've been taught in school growing up.
Exactly.
Mars, Venus, all the inner and outer planets, if you will. But, and you guys can look this up, recently, how far recently? I was saying, is it in the 2000s we found Planet X?
I think so.
Within the 20th century, 21st century, whatever.
Yeah, as of fairly recent.
Yeah, we've found Planet X. And so, with everything, all the planets that go on this record player, if you will, spinning around the sun in the solar system, Planet X goes the opposite way. North,
over
south,
under.
instead of east, west. And it goes over and under around the sun like that. And it comes every 4,500 plus freaking years. It gets in close to our solar system. And he says it's on its way right now. And it's even stuff biblically that talks about this.
Heading back around.
Yeah. And in Antarctica, scientists, if this laptop is Antarctica, they went across Antarctica, drilling holes down to get to the, it's a magnetic pole, so it's a North Pole. And what they found and what they were looking for first were to see if it was any shifts in the poles ever. And you can find that by the iron in the ground, which way the iron is like pointing or shifting, right? And so they found out, like, as you go, okay, this one is normal. One is pointing the opposite way, which indicates that there's been a pole shift in the earth before. And we've never lived, or anyone you know has ever lived to see it. But then they continued their research and they found out, whoa, there's even more shifts down here. So it's not the first time that the poles on Earth is shift. Meaning that every 4,500 years, there's a shift in the planet where the South Pole becomes the North and the North becomes the South. In the Bible, they talk about how it's new heaven, new earth type thing, whatnot. And so that, to me, when you do that, and like you talked about dinosaurs earlier, and we all know that the winds don't change, but the earth under it does, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it would be so catastrophic. But it's plausible that's what, we've been through scientifically 7 mass destructions of life on the earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
That would kind of make sense to me.
Like
scientifically,
resets.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like just these resets. But this guy who I was talking to, he believes that that Planet X and its moons around it have life and technology and stuff that know how to build pyramids and things of that stuff that we can't explain to this day. Because again, you can see in hieroglyphics in the pyramids, just one source. And, well, really, even in the Mayan pyramids of things that fly in the sky, that come down. Maybe it was a bedtime story to you, to the kids. Oh, let's just put this right next to the Mayan calendar.
You never know.
But and we could. There's something I want to say about the Mayan calendar after this. Remind me. But they he believes they came down and they showed people these type of things and technology where they could move 50,000, I mean not 50,000, 50 ton, 50 to 75 ton perfectly cut bricks from a quarry 500 miles away to build something so freaking perfect that it still stands to this day and it does not settle into the ground. That is not far-fetched.
It's not far.
Now, me, I believe in the firmament, so I'm just saying. But if you want to talk scientifically,
right, multiple angles to look at here.
That's freaking crazy, bro. Open your freaking minds.
Open it up just in case.
What are your thoughts on that? Too far-fetched, unlogical, or what?
I think it makes a lot of sense. If we do have a space out there, that makes a lot of sense that we'd have something like that. You know, it doesn't happen often enough. It's not something we can constantly see.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like choking on spit there for a second. So I do see it as like, you know, a variable that comes around every once in a while that, you know, if it shifts the poles and it causes catastrophe, most of us die off, you know, at that point it's just stories of how humanity was. And then we start a new generation. It's a great reset, you know. So I believe it's called the Adam and Eve Project through the CIA, but it makes a lot of sense that that would be something that would cut us off from the previous stuff, and we'd be able to see, oh, okay, well, here's some stuff archaeologically we can find of the last civilization, but it doesn't make sense anymore. We've only heard some stories from our parents and their grandparents, blah, blah, because the catastrophe happened. So it gets lost in history, one of those things.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
Damn.
But I will say, we're probably going to cut it down for this episode. We definitely want to revisit this in the next one, so keep an eye out if you want to hear more about this, especially from Shaq here.
Dig deeper, go ahead and comment down below and let us know if you want to hear that.
And we'll continue on this, probably our first portion of next episode.
Yeah.
And go on through, so.
Oh, yeah.
And then tell him how he likes we're trying to get.
All right, guys, so now we want to dive into something special for the viewers out there. We're looking for 10,000 likes and follows. If you smash, that's all you got to do. You smash a like button and a subscribe. Or you can follow on all platforms as well.
All platforms.
You do that, then that automatically enters. Go down under this video. You have to go to YouTube. I'm sorry. Comment under there. Done and entered. And we will send you a free, absolutely no shipping, handling, nothing of you'll come out of your
Straight
pocket.
To you.
A signed tapestry from myself and Race. Straight to your front doorstep. That's all you have to do to get entered. You ain't got to give no money. You ain't got to do.
And we may do the same thing for a hoodie and a hat just to fit the theme of what we've got going on.
All right, hoodie. If you want a hoodie and hat, we'll have you choose a color or whatnot, and then.
But only one hat for one person, one hoodie for one person, one banner for one person.
We'll do that another day.
So
and you have to share. Then see, that's all we want you to do. Just like, subscribe, comment.
If you like it, show your friends.
And when we get to 10,000, out of everybody who's done that, you will be receiving one for free. Alrighty.
That's all there is to it.
Now, I have something to say about the Mayan calendar, right?
Yeah. Do you want to put a pin in that one though?
Yeah, let's put a pin in it.
We'll pop a pin right in that little notebook there.
Pin popped.
Pin popped.
Alrighty, guys. Hey, well, thank you for tuning in for episode 3. We got guests coming on soon. We're trying to get right now the best guests we could possibly get on this show. Because we're not average and our guests aren't average, okay?
No,
so
sir.
Y'all be ready for this. We already got a lineup. It's coming soon. Me and Race, we worked pretty hard on bringing this to you guys. So thank you for being here. Thank you for listening.
Thanks for the support.
Thank you for tuning in. That's all you got to do. Just a little hour of your time. Anything else you want to add?
Nope. I appreciate everybody for joining us.
For sure. You see his eyes are getting a little low.
A little bit of tired, boy.
So we're about to call it. It's late. Thank you for coming through that wormhole to be with your boys. And now we kick you back out. Deuces.
Bye.